Time for What Are the Odds as we check out series odds for the AL wildcard matchup between the Yankees and Indians. The Yanks, despite a slightly lower seed, are still the favorites at -121. So if you bet 121, you'd win $100. Mark Malusis and Sal Licata join me to weigh in on this. Moose, should the Yankees, with some of the struggles you saw down the stretch of the season, be favored over Cleveland?
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, they shouldn't be. You understand why? I mean, because I think there's a confidence that this Yankee team can flip the switch, Sal, and all of a sudden find that rhythm. They've been remarkably inconsistent, a bad defensive team, bad situational hitting team when they're not hitting home runs. There's been a lot of ills to this team, and certainly they're going to be pressed here early on. So the bullpen not nearly as dominant as has been years gone by. But you get why they're the favorite, because they are such a public entity and there's such an inherent trust in the Yankees. But looking at this team, should they be a betting favorite going on the road in Cleveland, a place that they don't really have much success in? No, they shouldn't be.
They're based on anything that we've seen in the regular season. They should not be the favorite. They are the favorite, as you mentioned, because they're the Yankees. Because on paper, you look at that lineup and you say, how could this team ever lose? How could they not score 15, 20 runs a game? Oh, Garrett Cole. The problem is this is a bad matchup. There were two teams, Moose, that really match up well against the Yankees. That would be the Rays. That would be the Indians. And unfortunately, they're going to face one of them in the first round, regardless of where they ended up. It seemed down to the final day. And now they get the Indians. They're going to go to Cleveland for 2 or 3 games. If they're lucky enough, then they're going to be matched up with the Rays in all likelihood as they beat the Blue Jays. Yankees haven't done it. They haven't hit good pitching. They haven't played clean, crisp baseball. And you can look at that lineup on paper. They're bullies. To me, they beat bad pitching. They're not going to see that with the Cleveland Indians. You could almost argue this is worse than the Rays because of the dominant starting pitching that the Indians have. So, no, they should not be favorites based on what we saw in the regular season.
Seems like part of it has to do with what they've done in recent years as opposed to this season. But we're going to take this a step further now and review odds to actually win the World Series. The Dodgers are still atop the list at +350. Then the Rays and Yankees come in at +600. Sal, the Yankees' talent may be capable, but is a championship still a realistic expectation?
I do think that it is. Now, I don't think they're going to end up winning the World Series, but is it possible? Yeah, it is. When you look at that, you could weed out half the teams that are in the postseason right now. The Yankees are not one of those, because if they somehow do get past the Indians, all of a sudden you start to feel good about them, and they're as capable talent-wise as anybody else that's in the tournament. So I could understand that. I don't think that they're going to win it, but they absolutely can when you can name, Moose, a bunch of teams that have no chance before we even get started.
Yeah, and then you can look at the value and say, well, I mean, given all the limitations or the concerns you have about this team, is really, getting 6-1 odds on the Yankees win the World Series and really be impressed and asked to do something different that they've never done before. A good value bet, probably not. But yeah, I mean, they're capable of going on that kind of run. As Sal mentioned, I mean, they went from a 5-15 stretch to a team that looked unbelievable, to the point where they put up 43 runs, 19 home runs in a 3-game sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium. So we know it's not Yankee Stadium. We get it. We understand that. But still, they've had a lot of peaks and a lot of lows this year. The question is, what team are we going to see starting Tuesday night?
Certainly a tougher road for the Yanks than we thought. Moose, Sal, thanks so much.